Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's group training. We are going over 4 key components to building muscle. So I'm super excited to dive into this training because building muscle is fun. Guys, we want to make results on our journey. And a lot of times people put in all the work and they don't actually see the results. Even though their work ethic is good, there's a few key components. There's a few things that they may not be doing, or they may be doing it too much. There's a strategy to this game of building muscle through your exercises, and there's really just 4 key components that we are going to be going over today. And by the end of this call, I'm going to make sure that every one of you guys is clear on what it takes to build muscle um, through consistent exercise. Because again, a lot of people are consistent with exercise, but they haven't built the muscle they want. Not us, though. We're going to be building our muscle. All right, guys? The first thing I wanted to get into is form. Guys, we don't want to talk about anything else until our form is mastered. If we're doing exercises with bad form, that's a big waste of time. You see a lot of people in the gym who are doing lifting very heavy weights, and they're moving at short ranges of motion. They're not doing anything with that, guys. When it comes to form, it's mastering and controlling the weight throughout the full range of motion. A lot of people, they let the weight control them on the way down, and the weight just slams them back. We need to be controlling the weight throughout the full range of motion. You see, guys, if we move the weight very fast, it's hard on our joints and not that hard on our muscle. If we move the weight very slow, it's hard on our muscle, not that hard on our joints. We don't want these exercises to be hard on our joints. So as we get older, our joints are going to ache and it's going to be hard for us to work out. But if we can do the opposite, where we make the exercises harder on our muscle and easier on our joints, as we age, we're going to have that strength and resilience and that bone density, that muscle, that collagen that's going to help prevent injury, and we won't be hurting like other people moving the weight too fast. So proper form prevents injuries and ensures muscles are worked effectively. So when it comes to form, that's why I want all of you guys sending in form videos periodically, because, as a personal trainer, it's hard for me it was when I was an in-person trainer, it was very easy to tell my clients because I was right there with them and I could tell them and critique them exactly what to do. But when you're in my program, and this is an online program, I want to see as many angles and all of the form that I can see so I can address it and give you guys the best tips. But as you guys know, when we're starting off mastering our form, I want to start very light and very slow. Even if you're coming into the program and you're very strong in some key areas, very strong with a couple movements, but your form isn't perfect, we're going to be dropping down. We're going to be cutting the weight down dramatically, so we can get stronger with good form. Because if we get stronger with bad form, that's going to cause injury and cause us to not make any gains with our muscle. So I want to make sure, guys, by mastering the form inside this online program, it comes with a multitude of things. I need to be seeing your form throughout the week and throughout when you're training so I can critique you and tell you, okay, that looks good. Okay, we need to work on this. But as you are starting, I want to make sure all the movements I'm giving you, you go a little bit lighter and you go a little bit slower, because the lighter we go, it gives your body and your mind some confidence so you can really move the weight freely and slow. So if you're using, 15-pound dumbbells, say you're just doing curls or something, we don't want you moving like this. We want to be going very slow, very controlled. See that squeeze at the top? Slowly go down. And you want to go all the way down to a tricep extension and then come back up again. It's the same with a lot of these exercises. We're starting out very slow. You can also, besides filming yourself and sending it to me, you can use the mirror and check your posture. Make sure things are looking right. You want to, most movements, you want to have an upright posture. You want to have your core on. You want to have your glutes on if you're standing upright. But if you're laying down, depending on the movement, it depends on your posture. One sec here. I want to make sure everybody is muted. So ask feedback from trainers or workout partners. That's me, or that's also some people if you wanted to ask your friend or people at the gym. But I would prefer you guys just reach out to me, or if you have any questions, you can shoot it in the group. And there's also the 1 to 2 second training method. What this is, guys, is we count 1 Mississippi on the first portion of the rep, and then we count 1, 2 Mississippi on the second portion of the rep. This is going to help stimulate our brain while our body works. So it's going to be, we can be more intentional with our sets. Because a lot of times I see people coming in the program and they're just moving, going up and down, doing push-ups really fast, doing everything really fast. And it's not about moving the weight. Moving weight, that's why it has nothing to do with building muscle. Exactly. When it comes to hypertrophy, it first comes with mastering form. Once we master the form, then we can talk about moving weight. But before I talk about anything else, I want to spend a minute on form. Form is everything up front. If we don't have our form perfect, then nothing else really matters. Okay. So that's why I want to make sure that every movement that you guys are doing, that you're confident that you're doing it correctly. And once we get to the point that you are confident that you are doing it correctly, you don't have to send me that many form videos anymore. You know, a lot of my people that have been in my program for upwards of 6 months or more, they don't send so many form videos only if we're sending in a new exercise for them to try. But the thing is, guys, the form is the most important thing. That's why I put it number one, because we need to understand our form first before diving into any other of these components. So if you guys have any questions about this and how to master your form, you always can use me as a resource. And a lot of the videos that you guys can look at that are on your training program, I know that might be kind of fast and you have to rewind to check it, but most all those videos are the form that I want you guys to be using. So let me know if you guys have any questions about the form. I wanted to spend a second on here and really just talk about the form. Yeah. So the main thing is, guys, once you have mastered the form, you're no longer a beginner. The mastering the form at the beginning stages. Once you have mastered the form on exercises, then we move on to intermediate. And then we're going to talk about what's next after intermediate going into advanced. But the first thing, as a gym goer, the first thing when it comes to building muscle is mastering your form, mastering your technique. And most exercises like pushing, when it comes to push-ups, bench press, dumbbell bench press, dips, shoulder press, all of these, I want you to be thinking 1 Mississippi on the first portion of the rep, and then 1, 2 Mississippi on the second portion of the rep. And a lot of the times, I want you guys to pause at that end range of motion, because when you're pausing at that end range of motion, it's creating a lot of blood flow and muscle fibers are firing at that end range of motion. So what I really want you guys to think about is the first portion of the rep is a stretch, and the second portion of the rep is a contraction. So you're stretching and contracting. So I don't really want us to think of, we're not weightlifters, we're stretchers and contractors. We're stretchers and contractors. Because if you think people who are weightlifters, like power lifters and stuff, they are CrossFitters, they just move the weight up and down really fast. They don't care about how it looks. And then, you know, that's not great in my opinion. If you're just moving the weight up and down really fast, not caring about how it looks, that's going to lead to injury and it's going to lead to us not making any results. So I want you to think when you're doing your exercises, you're stretching and contracting. We're stretching and contracting. And it's really important to control the weight on the way down. You want to go slower on the way down because that's when we activate the most amount of muscle fibers. When that first portion of the rep, when you're pulling up or when you're pushing out, that first portion of the rep is where your strength and your power output is. So you can think that first portion of the rep is where we're building strength, where we're building power. That second portion of the rep is where we're building muscle and recruiting more muscle fibers. So I'm gonna reiterate that one more time. That first portion of the rep, that's your power output. The second portion of the rep is where you're actually building muscle. So you want to be extra controlled and very intentional on that second portion of the rep. I hope this is making sense, guys. If you guys have any questions, you can hit the chat, you can comment below. But I wanted to make sure I wanted to beat this to death. This first key component I wanted to beat to death. You guys can understand that form is the most important thing when it comes to building muscle with exercises. And YouTube is a great resource too. But the only thing with YouTube is there's some creators or there's some content out there where I disagree with the form, you know, especially if you're a beginner. We need to master the form correctly, because there's some other advanced techniques and variations that you guys might see on the internet that I don't want us to be starting out with it, and I don't want us to be starting out with an advanced variation. We need to start with the easiest, most simplest variation of these exercises so we can continue to master the form and eventually move from beginner to intermediate to advanced. Okay, so I think I beat this one to death, but form is everything. Form comes first over everything. And until we are an advanced lifter, until we are advanced, then we can start talking about tweaking the form for more advanced variations. But until then, we need to just master our form and just go very slow with all these repetitions. Again, 1 Mississippi out, 2 Mississippi. Some of my clients do even closer to 3 or 4 Mississippis. Whatever it takes for you to build that mind muscle connection. Because again, the slower you go on the way down, you're gonna feel your muscles working. And when you feel your muscles working, you're going to build that mind muscle connection, and that movement plane, that range of motion is going to become accustomed to you. And as we continue to stay consistent with these workouts, it's going to feel like second nature over time. But for the first couple months or so of you learning proper form on these movements, you have to be very intentional and very present with these repetitions. Does this make sense? All right. Form is the most important thing. All right. I think we talked enough about that. We'll recap at the end, but we're going to go down to intensity. How hard are you working during your exercises? We want those last few reps to be hard to do. You don't want it to be like, wow, this was easy, and you're just pumping out, and it's just like, wow. You want those last few reps to be hard to do. And back to the step number one, we can make the rep more difficult at a lighter weight by slowing down our repetition, pausing at that end range of motion, making it harder to do. Because a lot of people, this is the most common thing I see in the gym. People are trying to make the rep easier with a heavier weight. And that's the worst way to make progress. Listen to that again. People are trying to make the rep easier at a heavier weight by moving it really quick and doing bad form, and like their shoulders are all out of place. We need to do the opposite of that. We need to make the rep more difficult at a lighter weight, because if we can keep good form and add weight over time, we're going to change our body dramatically. But if our form is bad while we add weight, we're going to keep on never really building the muscle that we want to. So intensity is huge, but it comes gradually, and it comes only when I've mastered our form. So we can add more weight gradually. We can increase the speed of the reps, change grip or variation. When it comes to increasing speed of the reps, that's more an advanced technique when we have fully mastered our form. And this could be something like with pull-ups or push-ups, or maybe even squats. But again, this is not a tip. This is not a thing that we do until we have really mastered and honed in our technique. Though, and techniques like supersets and drop sets can increase intensity. So a superset is 2 exercises back to back that are antagonists, that are working separate muscle groups. So say I'm going to do 5 pull-ups without resting. I'm going to do 5 push-ups. That would be a superset. Similar to a drop set is the same exercise back to back at a lighter intensity without resting. So say you're doing curls, you're doing 30-pound curls without resting, you drop the 30 pounds and then you do 20-pound curls. Without resting, you drop the 20-pound curls and you do 10-pound curls. That would be an example of a drop set. Another way that we are going to increase intensity as you grow in the program. But again, for now, usually most of the time, as I've seen, for the first about 3 months or so, we're just focusing on mastering our form and honing in our technique. And once I see that your form is perfect, once I see that I'm confident with our form, we're going to start to implement some of these tactics to increase our intensity. Um, but if your muscles are sore the next day, that doesn't automatically mean too much. I mean, it could be a multitude of things. You don't have to be sore to have a good workout, and you don't have to be sore to have a bad workout. It's just everybody's body's a little bit different. But I do want you guys to be training harder than last time. That's the goal. It's progressive overload. Progressive overload in layman's terms is basically figuring out how to train harder than last time. So that's why we keep records of everything. And we can look last time we did a bench press for 12 reps at 115 pounds. And then we could be like, okay, this time I'm going to try to do that and do a little bit better. I'm going to maybe we could increase the intensity by slowing down the rep, adding in an extra rep, pausing it at the end of the range of motion. There's a lot of ways for us to increase intensity before we start to add weight. I like us to increase our intensity so many different ways before we start to add weight. Hope this is making sense. I know I'm kind of rambling, but we need to find your right intensity. Aim for the level that challenges you, but still allows you to maintain proper form. Once you break form, the set is dead. Okay. Once we break form, I don't want you to continue to try to push through that bad form. I want you to try to train as hard as you can while maintaining good form. And I also want you to do your best to do better than you did last time. Okay. Let me know if this makes sense. We need to train harder than last time with good form. Okay. We're going to move on to volume. But I hope I didn't spend too much time on intensity, but keeping it simple, we want the last few reps to be hard to do. And trust me, if we start to keep the reps slower and increase range of motion and increase time under tension means how long the muscle is under tension. So it's not really about how many reps we can do because our muscles don't really count reps. Our muscles just know that when you feel that burning sensation, that's the lactic acid buildup. We want that. That's a good indicator that we are training correctly with good form. If we're getting a lot of burning sensation in our chest during a bench press, we're getting a lot of burning sensation in our biceps during curls. That's the lactic acid buildup. That we want that burn is gains. We want that lactic acid buildup. All right. And prioritizing carbohydrates before the workout could help with that. So if you have a banana or a piece of fruit, maybe some rice, I like to tell people prioritizing a little bit of carbohydrates before your workout is going to really help with performance and your lactic acid buildup. It won't be as painful. But hope this is making sense, guys. I know I keep saying that, but I just want to make sure I get through to you guys. Form and intensity. We want to make sure that we're training with proper form, and we want to make sure that we are training hard. And we don't have to lift heavy to train hard. We can slow down the repetition. We can pause at the bottom. We can really squeeze those dumbbells or whatever we're working. We can really just be super focused and super intentional, and basically just go slow and use good form. And once we pass that plateau of going slow and using good form, then we can talk about more advanced techniques of adding weight, drop sets, and supersets. And once we get consistent, drop sets and supersets can be very fun. So, we'll get into that eventually in your guys' program. So now let's move on to volume. The definition: the total amount of work done, sets and reps. So my goal is to get everyone to train each muscle group twice a week. Sometimes that's possible, sometimes not. To me, that's the most optimal way to grow muscle. Um, for muscle growth, I want us to aim for 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps per exercise. So as you guys are seeing your workouts, I have everything worked out for you. So this is just something for you guys to understand how volume works. But I got the volume under control for you guys. As long as you are following the program, you're asking questions, I got you guys. Jason asked, "What's my opinion on pre-workout supplements?" So personally, I don't like the high caffeine stuff. I mean, but there are some good pre-workout supplements. Jason, I know I recommended you to take the citrulline. Citrulline is an extract of watermelon, and it's going to increase nitric oxide production. It's going to help with that blood flow and that mind muscle connection. So I think pre-workouts are cool as long as you don't do the high caffeine ones, because there's some of them that are out there. They're like 5 cups of coffee in one scoop. That'll blow my heart up. So some of the pre-workouts are okay, but I honestly think that the best pre-workout is a good amount of water. You should have drank at least a half a gallon of water before your workout. You should get in maybe a little bit of salt. The sodium is going to help your muscles retain more water, and a little bit of carbohydrate. See, a fast digesting carbohydrate. Like you could have before the workout, it's a perfect time to have like a candy bar or Rice Krispie or some rice, some white bread, some fruit, anything that you can eat that's going to go straight into your bloodstream that you can immediately use as energy and fuel for your workout. I don't personally take like a pre-workout, but I do take citrulline and creatine, what I showed you, Jason. I take citrulline, creatine, and beta alanine. And I make my own little homemade pre-workout myself, and I add a little bit of like sugar-free flavoring, and it's like my own little pre-workout. So I recommend creatine monohydrate, L-citrulline, and beta alanine. You can get all three of those on Amazon, guys. I think I have the. I'm pretty sure on the recommended supplements, there's the creatine. I don't know if I put. Yeah, and oh yeah, I did. See, L-citrulline and beta alanine right here. These are my two favorite pre-workout supplements. So the L-citrulline is going to help with the blood flow, with the pump. The beta alanine is going to help with the lactic acid buildup. So beta alanine is great for more advanced, but you guys can start using it too. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing with beta alanine is it gives you the tingles. Some people don't like beta alanine because it kind of makes them itch. It can make you scratchy. I kind of like it. It kind of signals to my body that it's time to train hard. I feel like I lift heavier. I go harder when I'm on beta alanine because it's a non-stimulant amino acid that feels like a stimulant. So L-citrulline, beta alanine, and creatine. They're all in the recommended supplements PDF. Let me know if you guys need me to send you that. But I recommend all three of those. Also, electrolytes, you could take if you guys get cramps during your workouts. Electrolytes is something that you could take to prevent cramps. And also green powders. I take greens powders as a pre-workout. It's basically just fruit and vegetable extract, but all those antioxidants are going to flood in your bloodstream, and you're going to get a nice burst of natural energy. So I take all these supplements that are in the recommended supplements. I take, and you could all kind of use them. Besides the turmeric, I wouldn't use turmeric pre-workout because you that's more of like a recovery supplement. But liquid like D3 could be great as a pre-workout as well. The greens, the L-citrulline, beta alanine. I mix it all. I actually do vitamin C, D3, L-citrulline, beta alanine, creatine, and then like a sugar-free uh cherry or grape thing. So yeah, good question. Hope that answered that. But back to what we were at here. Oops, where was I? All right. So, oops. All right. So, hope that answered your question, Jason. Pre-workouts, yeah, but I think before investing into a pre-workout, we should be prioritizing carbohydrates before our workout to get that energy, and prioritizing carbohydrates after our workout to replenish what we just depleted in our workout. So of course it's very important to hit our protein goal. We need the protein to build muscle, but the carbohydrates is going to help us with our recovery, especially like in the moment. See, carbohydrates are a great energy source. We use carbohydrates before the workout, I like maybe take like a banana or something before the workout. That can be a great pre-workout in itself. And then we have a good amount of carbohydrates after the workout. It's gonna replenish that energy that we just beat ourselves up, draining ourselves from our workouts. So hopefully that answered your question, Jason. But if you've gotten have you gotten the L-citrulline and creatine yet? Because that's a great start. I think everybody in the program should be getting creatine. That is the number one supplement, creatine monohydrate, 5 grams a day. All right, now let's move on to volume. I got the volume on lock. You guys got me. I'm basically looking at you and creating your program and deciding how much volume that I think you can handle, that I think will be the best where we are at. Rest, guys. Rest is very important. Okay, rest and form. I really think rest, form. They're all important. They're all important. Nice. They're all important, but rest periods are crucial for muscle growth, guys. Very important. You see a lot of people like doing a heavy lift, and then right after they do another heavy lift, and like you need to give your body time to get stronger. The whole point of a rest interval is to come back stronger. Is to like how much time we can wait from lifting that gives our body more energy to come back and try to do it just as hard as we did it last time. So for muscle endurance, it's 30 to 60 seconds. And I don't have much people training for muscle endurance. We're training for muscle strength and growth. That's 1 to 4 minutes. Some of my advanced athletes in the program who've been with me a while are resting for 4 minutes because we're training so hard that we need the rest to come back stronger. This is what I wanted to get at. See, a lot of you guys beginners that are in the program, you might be resting 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, which is great. That's still enough time for us to come back stronger. But as we start to train hard and really go for PRs, personal records, and we start to implement reverse pyramid training, which we will get into later as you grow in the program, you're going to be resting longer because I need you guys to come back stronger. All right, because when we start to train really hard with really good form, it drains the central nervous system. So if we were to start to train really hard with good form and only rest 30 seconds, we wouldn't be able to do more than a couple reps. So rest is very important, and not only resting between sets, resting in between actual sessions. We wouldn't want to do a bunch of push-ups one day and then literally the next day do another push-ups. We need to rest all around. That's why a lot of you guys are on push-pull leg splits. So one day we're doing all pushing exercises, one day we're doing all back exercises, and one day we're doing leg exercises. The way that is set up, it gives your body time to recover each muscle group at the time. So we should be fully recovered when we come into each session. All right, it wanted to kick me up. So I hope this is making sense, guys. 1 to 4 minutes when it comes to muscle strength and growth. And a lot of you guys aren't going to get to 4 minutes until we're consistent with training hard for like 1 to 2 years, honestly. And rest days and we need to ensure that we at least rest one time per week. Some of you guys are training 6 days a week, some 4 days, some 5 days, some even 3 days. And it's all based on your schedule and your workload, what you're able to do. But I never want anybody training actually hard 7 days a week. Because it's just too much for your central nervous system. Even if we are prioritizing each muscle group and we got it split up perfectly for 7 days a week, your central nervous system is still going to take that beating because you're training hard. That power output is being released. So a couple additional notes I wanted to go over, guys. Drink plenty of water, especially before the workout. We want to drink a lot of water before we get into our workout. It's going to help with the blood flow. It's going to help with the pump. It's going to help with the mind-muscle connection. Proper nutrition. As I mentioned, guys, prioritize carbohydrates before the workout and after the workout. And of course, your meal plans are protein rich because I want to make sure that everyone's hitting their protein goal, because as we're getting stronger, if we're not eating enough protein, we're not going to build the muscle. That's why you see all these power lifters there's power lifters that are deadlifting 700 pounds but that they don't look like they have any muscle because they don't have their nutrition, but they don't really care. But I'm just saying, we got to get our nutrition on lock. Consistency, guys. Regular exercise and gradually increasing intensity and volume are key to building muscle. And it's a game plan that I have you guys in. As we first start in the program, we master our form, we master our technique. And after we master our form and technique, we increase our volume. We increase our volume, we increase our intensity. And then that's when we're in the intermediate stage. As we're in the intermediate stage, when we have mastered our form, we're increasing volume, we're increasing intensity. To move out of the intermediate stage into the advanced stage, we reduce volume and we increase intensity and we increase rest. So that doesn't come till way later, but I don't doubt that everybody in my program will get to the point where we will be advanced gym goers. And once you're an advanced gym goer, you're at the point where it's very fun. I mean, this whole process is fun because we're just improving. But once you get to the point where you want to rest 3 to 4 minutes, and you're able to work out less to get a better result because you're able to train so hard with such great technique that you can actually do less and get more. But in the beginning part, guys, we need to do more volume and really master repetition and really just get so consistent where it comes these forms and these techniques just become second nature. All right, guys. Form, intensity, volume, and rest. Form, intensity, volume, rest. You guys need to write that down somewhere. That's what it takes. I don't want to overcomplicate it and talk about each actual exercise we need to do, but I just want you guys to be going into your next gym session and be thinking about this. Form is the number one most important thing. Intensity is those last reps hard to do. Volume, this was just for your added benefit, but I'm working on your guys' volume. And if you guys let me know if you're getting too sore, or you want to up the volume, or you want to lower the volume of your workouts, just let me know on that. And rest. I know we can get a little bit of antsy, and we're like, what should we do during these rest periods? Like, it's like, so, like, what the heck? Like, that's the time where you could go on the app, shoot me a message, or maybe set up for a form video, drink some water. There's a lot of things you can be working on and doing during your rest. The one thing that I don't want you to be doing during your rest is not resting, like jumping jacks, doing cardio. The whole point of the rest is for you to come back stronger on your next set. All right, guys? Hope you guys got value from this training. This was fun for me to deliver. I kind of went a little bit longer than expected, but I wanted to make sure that you guys understand how this all works. All right. Those of you guys with me live, are you guys understanding? Did you guys get value? Did this make sense? Please comment on the chat. Those of you who are watching on the replay, I appreciate you guys. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. So form, intensity, and volume, and rest. Thank you guys for tuning into today's group training, the 4 key components to building muscle, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Let's go.